Hi yogis. So today I'd like to do a flow focusing on contralateral movements, so cross body movements, opposite arm, opposite leg, and also a lot of stuff for the upper body, some shoulder openers and some upper body strengthening moves. So we'll start in a child's pose. This class you could use a block. There's one thing I'm going to do where we'll use a block, but you don't necessarily have to have it, but if you have one, that'll be good. Also, some of the binds, if you wanted to try a strap, or leg extensions, if you wanted to try a strap, you could, but again, not necessary. So starting in child's pose, let your knees go wide, sit your hips back, reach out through each fingertip, lengthen through your spine. Feel the little creases, the little folds at the front of your hips. Feel those folds just soften as you get longer. We're going to take just a little bit of a side body stretch in child's pose. So we'll take the hands and walk them over slightly to the right. Your head stays in the center. You can relax your forehead to the floor. Just feeling a stretch down the left side of your torso. And feel a slight squeeze in through the right side, bottom of your ribs towards your right hip. And then slowly come back up and walk your hands out. You don't even need to really lift up. You can just kind of slide over to the side. It doesn't have to be a big movement. Just enough to feel the stretch on the right side of the body and keep that hip connected. So if you're bringing your hip up really high or forward quite a bunch, then that's a little too far. Find the place where you can still keep your hip just as close as your heel, to your heel as it was before. So you can get more of this just lengthening through your side body, still grounded through your hips. Stretching that on the right side. You might feel a little bit of activation of the left ribs, bottom ribs towards your left hip. Still some pressure out through the left hand as well. Reach through the fingers. Breathe. And then come back to center. One more breath here in the center. Again, reaching out through each fingertip and lengthening. And then slowly come up. We're going to go into a kneeling position. I'm just going to face you guys. And you can always come back to the child's pose, particularly if you're not used to doing a lot of upper body strength and you need a break sometime in these down dogs or in some of the strengthening moves. Take a child's pose, take a rest. Stretch out your shoulders and your chest. But right now, we're going to bring our hands so that the palms are up and our pinkies go right to the creases of your hips. And then you can always extend your legs forward or sit on the block if this is not a comfortable seat for you. It's not important really how you're sitting. Just getting the spine relatively tall, lengthened. But we're just going to roll out the shoulders. So start one shoulder at a time, rolling back. Just getting some movement in your shoulders. The hands here staying at the creases of your hips just make it harder for you to cheat and use other parts of your body to think you're moving your shoulders. Keep the back of your hands connected to your legs. And then we'll reverse direction so you can see when I stop, one shoulder is higher than the other, and reverse. So one's always higher, one's always lower. Lengthening through one side of the body, shortening through the other side of the body. You might have an easier time moving in one direction or the other. Moving forward like this feels a little bit stickier to me today. You're going to be feeling that movement as one shoulder blade moves up and one shoulder blade moves down. And then we'll hold here, and we're just going to open the chest, close the chest, so rounding and arching, right? So I'm gonna bring my hands at my side. First we will roll everything forward. As I roll forward, I'm scooping out my belly. I'll bring the back of my hands to touch, tuck my chin. And then I'm gonna do the reverse. I'm gonna arch back, and I'm gonna also externally rotate through my hands so my pinky fingers feel like they're kind of reaching back. Really squeezing my shoulder blades in, stretching my throat. A couple more times. Exhale as you curl in on yourself, back of your hands, back of your wrists touch, chin tucked. Inhale. Really exaggerate rolling the hands out, rolling the pinkies back, arching your low spine too, so you get this big arch in your low back, stretching your throat. And exhale, round forward, back of your hands touch, rounding through your upper back wide across your shoulder blades, belly in. Inhale, arch, expand, wringing the arms slightly. And one more each direction. Exhale, round and scoop up the belly. Feel the pressure as you bring the back of your hands, back of your wrists towards each other. And then again, roll the arms out, roll the pinkies out, arch your back, really lift up through your chest. And that's enough. Hands to the knees. We're going to come into all fours positions. We're just going to turn so you have a better visual here. All fours, your shoulders over your wrists and your hips over your knees. First, let's just stretch the wrists just a little bit. So turn the fingers out to the sides, and we'll just rock back and forth, right and left. Just shifting some weight over towards the fingers and back. Keep pressing the floor away. Make sure you're not just sinking down into this. And now we're going to add a little movement. I'm going to slide my fingers in because somehow I got a little wider. So we're going to add just a little movement. So actually, let's bring the fingers in once first. And from the fingers in, just try to bend your elbows and then straighten. Bend and straighten. Notice I'm not doing a lot with my back. I'm not doing the cat-cow with my back. I'm just trying to bend and straighten. And a slight wrapping of the arms. Since I'm in this position where my elbows go out, it's not super obvious. And then we'll bring the hands back so the fingers go out. This is a challenging one, so you might want to walk your knees in a little closer to take a little bit less weight in your hands. And we're going to rock back and forth, but we're going to add a flick. So I'm going to rock back and forth, and I'm going to flick my wrists in. So it might seem like silly or small, but this should really activate the forearms quite a bit, this movement. Plus it makes a really fun sound on my mat. Last two. Alright, and then let's try one more bend and straighten. So this time I'm going to turn my right fingertips back, and I'm going to try to, then we're going to go a little out to the side. I'm going to try to bend and straighten here, which is a very, very small movement. Feeling a little bit of that kind of wrapping around, and so working the forearm. Try that with the other side. Left hand turns back, they might go a little bit out, and just a little bend and straighten. And this side's even harder, so it's even smaller, so I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's a very small movement, bending and straightening my arm. It really just feels like I'm kind of spiraling in and spiraling out, because there's not a lot of bending and straightening happening. Kind of rotating in my shoulder joint. Alright. And now, shake the hands out if you need. We're going to go back into our all fours with our shoulders over the wrists, hips over the knees. and work the lower body a little bit more. You can have your toes tucked or the top of the ankles to the floor. When you shift the weight, so first time shifting the weight, try not to make it too exaggerated, so I'm still using both hands. I'm trying to keep my chest even. And I'm just going to kick my right leg up. You can flex your foot, that'll help activate even more through the glute. So as you kick, the glute activates, the hamstring activates, and if you're arching your back, you'll get more into the low back as well. Not necessary. Maybe even trying to avoid that and just focus more on the glute at the beginning. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then bring the knee back towards the other knee and we'll circle out. So this could be very small circles. Just try to make a smooth movement with your knee. If there's a clunky sensation, not the end of the world, slow it down. If it's painful, make it a lot smaller. Avoid the pain. It doesn't need to be painful. Last 2, last 1. And then we're going to go back into that kicking up, working the glute. But I'm going to let my back arch a little bit more. So I'm going to arch into it. Now I'm going to try to balance. Bring the left arm forward. You can stay here, balancing with your left arm forward and you're kicking up through your right heel, or you can reach your left arm back. If you can get the foot, pinky toe side, you can hold on and kick up even more, a little bit more stretch as your left shoulder rolls back. And then bring it down. Try the same thing with the left leg. So again, make sure you're organized here. Everything is stacked up, shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. Perfectly fine to tuck your toes if that gives you better balance. Shifting the weight to lift the left leg up, still active through both hands, still wide through your shoulder blades. Flex your left foot and kick. Try to kick straight back. So notice if your knee likes to go in towards your midline or out away from your midline, and see if you can really use your glute to go straight back. Keep that movement consistent. 5, 4, 3, every time squeeze it, 2, last 1, and then we'll do those circles out. So just circling out with the knee, and try not to lean or sink into your right arm, your right side. You're going to have a little round in your upper back as you keep your shoulder blades pulled wide. 5, 4, 3, 2, last 1, and then kick your heel up. This time you're going to start to arch your back, so your leg will go a lot higher and you can get that happening as well. Reach your right arm forward. You can stay here, trying to balance your weight evenly, so you're not tilting your chest to the side, your pelvis is still in the center, right? You're not tipped out towards the right or left. And then right arm reaches back. Maybe you get the foot, maybe it's not quite there yet. Got a hamstring, curl it in pretty close towards your butt. If you can, pinky toe side, and kick into your hand. So I'm letting my shoulder pull back, but just like our Bikram standing bow, I'm going to keep my hips more parallel to the floor, more even with each other. This be a chest opener. And then release it down. All right, from your all fours position, you should probably be able to get into a pretty good downward facing dog, but first let's do these block lifts. So if you have a block, you can use a block. You don't necessarily need one, you can use your imagination as well. So from a forearm position, we put the block in between the forearms. So it's just a way for us to practice like pressing up and activating the muscles on our chest and our upper back that we want to use in a down dog or use in a lot of arm positions, balancing positions. So with the block, fingers spread out nice and wide, pressing down through each fingertip, you can lift and lower. With your knees on the floor, it's not a huge amount of weight, so most people can do this, but you will feel the muscles working, maybe in a different way in your shoulders or in your upper back. So it's just a nice thing to practice now and again. If you are working on forearm stance, stuff that really requires a lot of stabilization in the upper body, I think these are really helpful. Just if you have a lot of flexibility, I think these can be really helpful to train your body to figure out where the strength is coming from, what that should feel like. Let's do a few more. If you wanted to add on to make it more challenging, you can do this from a downward facing dog position. So you'd be lowering all the way down, lifting all the way up, which adds a lot more weight. 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. Ooh, feeling that in the forearms. And then get rid of the block if you have the block. Okay. So let's go into our first downward facing dog. Stretch your fingertips wide, creases of your wrists parallel to the front of your mat. Tuck your toes. If you're in your kneeling position, you can kind of find the top of your toenail and just put your big toe there, and that's probably the perfect length for your downward facing dog. You might need to make some adjustments, but that's probably pretty good. All right, feet hip width distance apart. Heels are not spiraling out, heels are not spiraling in. Your inner arches should feel like they're reaching back behind you slightly, inner thighs reaching back behind you slightly. And then that broadness in your upper back, slightly pressing your chest towards your thighs. Pull the low belly up and in, lengthening through your low back. You can release your heels down even as you lift your hips up. We're going to take one little stretch here, a little twist and stretch. So for most people, you're going to want a slightly smaller down dog. So I'm going to take about a 1 foot step closer with each foot. And I'm still keeping the hip width distance apart. I'm going to take my right hand and reach it over to grab my left calf. If you're very bendy, you can also just set it down on your heel and look up underneath your left armpit and try to square your hips and let your torso twist to the left. And then we'll replace that. Weight's going to come to the right hand. Left hand goes over to grab the calf, or maybe to settle in at the heel. Look up towards your right armpit. Try to keep your hips even. Still lifting up. Still pressing through your arm. Twist through your torso. And then we'll come back to the downward facing dog. Step it back to your regular length if you took your feet in a little closer. One more breath here. And then look forward in either step, or jump your feet towards your hands. Take a halfway lift, forward fold, and inhale all the way up. Right, I'm going to face you for the next part. First and A's. We'll start with an open arm twist. So from your arms up over your head position, start to spiral your arms out, kind of like we did right at the beginning with the shoulders, right? That sensation of one moving in one direction, the other one moving in the other direction. So you can just reach your arms opposite directions and then look out over your right hand and just square your hips still to the front of you. And then inhale, reach the arms up. Same thing in the opposite direction. The shoulder blades just moving away from each other and look out over your left fingers. Try to press your left hip forward, pulling up and in through your low belly. And then bring the arms up overhead. We're going to take the palm to the palm. Kind of reach your palms and your elbows up and back. And then you can let your head drop back or let your hands rest back. So the back bend won't be huge, but it should activate more into your triceps, which will feel nice, and your upper back, and really feel a lot of movement in the ribs. And then come back up and we'll take our forward fold. For this one, we'll just sweep the arms back, interlace, bend the elbows, and then start to reach your arms back and forward fold over your legs. Any amount, reaching your pinkies up and over to the other side. And let yourself fold from the creases of your hips again. Bend your knees as much as you need to get that sensation of stretching your low back. And let your arms pull you back up. Going right forward into our plank position. Press your chest forward. Arms create a 90-degree angle as you lower yourself down. Roll forward into an upward facing dog or a cobra. You can have a slight bend in the elbows. Lift your chest. And then exhale. Downward facing dog. One more breath here. Look forward and either step or jump your feet up towards your hands. Halfway lift, forward fold. Inhale, all the way back up for round two. Round two, again, lift up tall. Let your shoulders move away from each other. Reach in opposite directions. Look over your right shoulder. Inhale, come back up. Left arm moves back this time. Really getting that movement through your ribcage, your mid-back. Look over your left shoulder, left thumb. Inhale, come back up. Reach up high through your arms, kind of reaching the elbows and the forearms forward, and then draw back. You can let the hands draw back and even press your head towards the base of your thumb. Lift your chest. And we'll take our back bend. Swing your arms back. Bend at your elbows. Draw back and fold forward. And then you don't even really need to come up. You can just release your hands down. Walk out into your plank. Press your chest forward. Remember those muscles of using the block. Those are the muscles that help you go down into your chaturanga, slow and controlled. And then press forward into your upward facing dog or your cobra. And exhale back to downward facing dog. 2 breaths. We'll do that one more time. Look forward towards your hands. Bend your knees and either step or jump. Up in between your hands. Always landing light if you're jumping. And take your halfway lift. Forward fold. All the way back up into your mountain pose. One more time. Lift up tall. Spiral the shoulder blades apart. Right arm's going back. Left arm's going forward. Just moving slow and controlled even as you look, as you gaze over your right fingers. Shoulder. Inhale, come back up. Move the shoulder blades apart. Hips still pressing forward. Eyes just slowly follow your left arm back. Inhale, come back up. Reach your arms up. Press your elbows forward. And then you can rest the hands along the base of your thumb. Lift your chest. You can press your chin a little away from your chest. So you lift up and create more movement in the upper back. And coming forward, sweep the arms back, bend your elbows, roll the heads, the shoulders back, and take your forward fold. And then moving into your plank position. Chest moves forward, down into your chaturanga. Move forward to an upward facing dog or cobra. And back to downward facing dog. Let's take another couple of breaths here. And then look forward, bend your knees, step or jump. Up in between your hands, halfway lift, forward fold, and all the way back up into your mountain. We're going to go right into our Sun B. So starting off with a chair position, sweep your hands back down towards the floor, bend your knees, butt low, weight slightly back. You can even lift your toes up off the floor if you want to try. Reach your arms up. If you were to peek down, you can still see your toes though. That's going to tell you you're in a good position. When your knees don't make your toes invisible. And then lift your chest. Might have to pull the ribs in slightly, tail down slightly, belly in more, arms ideally by your ears, and spiraling in with your pinkies, which is kind of that same sensation we feel in the down dog as well with the action in the arms. And then you can stay low, bring your hands towards your chest. Shift your weight to your left leg. Right leg comes up for a figure 4. So flex your right foot. Sit your hips back. Notice if there's a lot of twisting, try to sit back nice and low and even as you relax your right knee down. So there's still some activity in your left inner thigh. Still some lift in your chest and your collarbones. We're going to go right into some balance. A lot of this contralateral stuff is balance. So we're going to bring the knee up, one-legged mountain. Kind of moving with the arms, both arms moving opposite directions. So my right shoulder blade is pulling down as my left shoulder blade is lifting up. I'm going to bring my right foot into my hands, holding at the inside for bow or dancer. Right? So the inner thighs squeeze in, chest lifts. Start to kick into your right hand. You can make this a bow or more of a dancer, just turning the hand up and letting it be less about that reach and more just keeping the hips even, getting the opening through the upper back, either way. So you choose. It's finding your connection to center, keeping the right leg, right hip in line. Very important for balance here as we move on. So slowly come back out, and then we're just going to switch. We're just going to switch that movement of the arms. So now my right arm is up, my left arm is down. The shoulder blades just switch like we did at the beginning of class. Just like the balance on the all fours, my hand comes out to the pinky toe side. I'm going to do that same movement. Since you're used to going probably deeper into it, this is not going to be as deep. It's going to be a smaller movement. I'm just trying to keep the hips even, keep the torso even. Let your shoulder get pulled back. And then come back up. Send your right leg back at an angle, setting up for warrior 1. So you can bring your hands to your hips and square your hips forward again. Right hip pulling forward. Bend your left thigh parallel towards the floor. Reach your arms up. I'm going to do the Ashtanga version of warrior 1 with my palms together, my thumbs crossed, but this is totally optional. You can always bring your hands up straight up. They don't have to force that if that's a challenging position for your hands or your shoulders. And then we're just going to take this as a transition. So roll onto the ball of your right foot. So you're in a crescent lunge now, squaring the hips again. And we'll bring the hands to the floor to frame your front foot. Come down onto your right knee. Shift your hips back and take it into a half split. So you can flex your left leg in front and fold back any amount, or fold forward any amount. You can hold the foot, up to you. If you want to adjust, find where you're going to get a stretch. Still squaring the hips, very important, any splits kind of stuff. Keeping that balance. Left hip pulls back, right hip pulling forward. And then from here, we'll take a little bit of a twist as well. So depending on your flexibility, you might take your left hand down and reach your, right hand down and reach your left arm up. Or if you're quite flexible, right forearm down, left arm up. And then come back up. And we'll just slide the leg back. Come into plank. Chest forward. Chaturanga. Inhale to your upward facing dog or cobra. And exhale to your downward facing dog. 2 breaths. Look forward. Either step or jump your feet up in between your hands. Chest lifts, halfway lift. And relax into a forward fold. Inhale all the way up for mountain pose. I'm just going to switch into the left leg. So from your mountain pose, reach your hands back down along the sides of the feet. Keep your hips low, lift your arms up for the chair, pull the belly button in, tuck your tail, lift your chest, but pull the ribs in slightly. Chin parallel. Shoulders down, even as fingers reach up. And then hands come towards the chest. Shift the weight to the right leg. Left leg comes up for the figure four. Again, try to square your hips even as you relax your left knee down. The tendency is often to take a little twist towards the right. So pull your right butt back even as you relax your left knee down. And the more you use the glute, the more flexibility you might have in the front of the hip. So stay active in the glute. That helps for all balancing, really. And then come up into that one-legged mountain. Left arm reaches down, right arm reaches up in that same contra-lateral movement with the shoulders. Hold on to the inside of your left ankle. And going into your dancer or your bow. Variations you want to play with. I started off kind of doing this dancer variation on the other side and then shifted more forward through my right shoulder. So, see where it's interesting for you, where you can keep your hip going straight back, staying in that consistency and balance and control and breath. And then inhale, come back up, keeping the leg lifted if you can. Just take that switch to the opposite arm, reaches back. Try to find that left hip and that glute. Pinky toe side with your right hand and kick into it. Again, it might be a very small movement. Don't force anything with your standing leg or your standing knee. So use the bigger muscles, the glutes and the thighs, to even yourself out. Create balance, let your shoulder get pulled back. So stretch in the front of your left hip. And then come back up. We'll send the left leg back. Roll onto the edge of the foot forward, warrior one. You can bring your hands to your hips to make sure you have your correct alignment. Left hip pulls forward, right hip pulls back. Arms come up, maybe going into the palms together, but not necessary. Just finding your consistency here. Again, find the strength in the legs. Lifting up out of the low belly. And then roll onto the big toe ball mound of your left foot, setting yourself up in a crescent lunge. Bring your hands to frame your right foot and bring your left knee down. You can sit your hips back, flex your right toes, go right into the half splits, or if you're pretty flexible, you might have to adjust a little bit to feel the stretch. Bringing your chest forward any amount and reaching low. You can square your hips, flex your front foot. You can tuck your back foot as well. That's a great way to keep yourself honest if you like to lean out to the side a lot. And especially it might help as we do the twist. So either left hand down and right arm up. Try to stack up your shoulders. Or for the bendier folks, left forearm down, right arm up. Still pulling your right hip back. Bring your right hand down. Tuck your back toes. Make sure you can come out of these with control. Coming into our plank. Chest forward. Lower down chaturanga. Inhale. Upward facing dog or cobra. And exhale back to your downward facing dog. 2 breaths here. And look forward. Bend your knees, step or jump your feet up in between your hands. Look forward, halfway lift. That can be high. I'm just in the habit of keeping my palms down. Ashtanga teachers won't let you bring your hands up. And take your forward fold. And inhale all the way up to your mountain pose. We might try to do doing it on this direction for this side. We'll see how that goes. So, one more time around. From here, bend your knees, set your hips low, lift your chest, coming into a chair pose, moving a little quicker, second time round. Right leg comes up, figure 4, hands come to your chest, Sit your hips low. And then coming up to a one-legged mountain pose. Reach your right arm back, left arm up. Take a dancer or take a bow. And then come back to center. Do that little swimming switch with your arms. Right arm up, hold at the pinky toe side, kick into your hand, use your glutes. Left one's helping you balance, right one's helping you kick. So even if your legs are coming up high, there's a good amount of kick there. And come back up. Find your center, send your right leg back, taking it at the angle so you can come into your warrior one. You don't need your hands at your hips if you know where you are in space. Blend the back hip forward, forward hip back. Just taking a moment here to lengthen out through the torso. Lift away from your hips, even if you're sitting low. Should feel lifted and active. Hands frame the front foot. Bring your right knee down. Send the left leg back. Or if you're ready, you can go full splits. Or if you're bendy and you don't want to go quite into your flexibility, you can make this more about strength, keeping the back leg tucked, using your hands as much or as little as you need. And staying here and breathing. Find where it's interesting for you. Add the twist if that felt good. Or if you're in full splits, you can wrap your left arm around and take your right arm to your pinky toe side and fold. And then coming back up again, exit gently. Back into a plank. Chest forward, lower down chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. And breathe here. Couple deep breaths. Every time you exhale, it should feel like your ribs are getting closer to your thighs. And look forward. Bend the knee, step or jump. Halfway lift, forward fold, inhale, up to mountain. Every time you come up, it's an opportunity to really lengthen up. So there's a reason we're not doing that instead of just going into the chair. One more round with the left leg. Sit your hips low, reach your arms up, keep your hips low, keep your inner thighs rolling in. Maybe playing with lifting up the toes. Hands towards your chest, left leg lifts. Flex your your left foot and sit down lower. See if you can get a little bit lower the second time around. Still lifting through your torso, still lifting through your collarbones, ribs pulled in. And then coming up to our one-legged mountain. Switch the arms for your bow or your dancer. Send your body forward, kick up. Each leg has its lane, they stay in their lanes, toes going to the ceiling. Reach forward. Maybe playing with it a little bit, just seeing what it feels like to play. And come back up. Switch your arms. Again, hip stays forward. Kind of get the ankle straighter, like this is a challenging one for me to straighten my ankle. Using the glutes, seeing how much I can use my strong standing leg to help me. And then kick into your hands, really kick, use the glutes. Inhale, come back up. Send your left leg back, bend into your front leg. Warrior one, sit low, lift your chest, square yourself off. Lengthening up through your sides. And then frame the front foot, just smoothing it out, rolling onto the big toe, and then drawing the left leg down. Again, taking the half split variation. We're going into full splits. If that's available, make sure you're not cheating with your alignment. Back toes can stay tucked. You can stay in that kind of hover. Or if you added the twist, add the twist. On this side to reach your right arm back. You can do that in your seated. You can go to one hand. See if you can find your alignment, your hips even enough that you can do it with one hand, or reaching and lowering your twist. Come back up. Hands frame your right foot. Lift as much as you need to make it smooth. Slide it back. Plank. Lower. 90-degree angle with your arms. Come up, chest up. Exhale, down facing dog. A couple breaths here. We are going to go through one more time each side. So I kind of lied, but we'll do a couple of different things. So look forward and either step or jump. Halfway lift. Take your forward fold. Inhale all the way tall. Sit your hips low. Coming up into your chair. Hands to your heart, figure four. Right leg comes up. Flex your right foot. Sit your butt low. Maybe bring your torso all the way over your right shin. Or opportunity to scoop up that shin like you're doing rock the baby and then lift. Your left leg might not straighten all the way, but just see what you can do. Try to relax your shoulders down your back. You can flex your right foot here too. Of course, no pain in the knee. Strong glutes. I'm actively a little bit pressing my pinky toe side of my right foot into my arm to open that hip even a little bit more. And then lower back down. Hands back to your chest. Send your right leg back. We'll go back into our warrior one. Bring your arms up over your head. Bend your left thighs, square your hips. We're going to take, our right arm under the left for eagle arms. Press your forearm slightly away from your body. And then take a little back bend here. Lift your chest and reach your elbows up and back. And come up to center. Shift your weight to your left leg, hopping up into our one-legged mountain, and then bring your right leg over your left, wrapping it around for the full eagle. In this version, we're going to lift our elbows high, stretch our forearms away, sit the hips low. And one more on one leg. Release your eagle legs. Send your right leg back. You can take this as a warrior three with eagle arms, or you can go deeper into a standing splits with any arms you like. Just keep the hips even. And send your right leg back. Let your hands coming into your plank position. And from here, before we do the other side, let's just do a little bit of strength work. So we're going to come down onto our forearms for a forearm plank. So you can imagine you have the block there, even though you don't have the block. We're just going to practice coming up one at a time to regular plank, going down to your forearm plank. Try to alternate which hand goes down and up first. At your own pace. Knees can be down for this. If this is a big challenge, better to have better form and have your knees down. And if you tried it at the beginning of class, holding onto the block from the downward dog position, you can try that here. So keeping the forearms down, the elbows underneath your shoulders, pressing up. So you're not quite in a downward facing dog because your legs are a little bit too extended, but similar. 2 more. Oh, these really work. Last one. And then come back into your regular plank. Chest forward. Lower chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Stretch it all out. Exhale, downward facing dog. Bring your knees to the floor and take a quick child's pose. Press your hips back. Reach out with your arms. And then look forward. Back into your downward facing dog. And still with the eyes in front of you. You can either step or jump your feet up in between your hands. Take your halfway lift. Forward fold. Inhale all the way to your mountain. Just gonna switch back over to this side for this last left leg side. So sit your hips low. Come on up to chair. Bring your hands to your chest. The left leg comes into the figure 4 position. And try to bring your torso over your left shin. And stay there. Maybe you want to scoop up the leg and lift. Pressing the floor away from you with your right leg, so it doesn't have to be straight, but it needs to be strong. And try to relax any tension in your upper back or your chest. And then I'm going to try to push with my pinky toe until I feel more stretch in my left glute and more opening in my hip. And the more that happens, the more everything else in the upper body can relax. And then bring it back down. Ooh, find your balance, lift your chest. Good low. Bring your left leg back to the warrior 1. Outer edge of the foot turned out. Roll the hips, lift your chest. Right thigh parallels with the floor. Again, active glutes. We'll bring, this time, the left arm under. Eagle arms, reaching a little bit forward in front of you, keeping the elbows somewhat high. Shift your weight to your right leg, legged mountain. And then sweep the left leg over for eagle. Keep pressing the forearms forward, the elbows up, kind of like that first backward bend. Hips low. Inner thighs super squeezy. Bring it out. And then one more, stay on the right leg. Left leg can go back, keeping the inner thighs active, staying in that straight position, or let yourself go into a standing split, any variation you like. But stay lifted up to the joint. So no matter how much you're folding forward, there's no sinking down. You're lifting up to go deeper. And we'll send the left leg back. Bring the right leg back so you're in a plank. Again, we're not going to go right to our flow. We're going to work a little bit of strength from here, something different. So from your plank position, push back and up into your downward facing dog. And we'll take the right leg up. And then bring your right knee towards your right elbow, shifting your weight forward, and send it back. A couple of these. Also, hopefully this is going to get the abs, just like the other plank exercise, get the abs really active. Got 3 more. If you want to add on the top a little hop, you can. You don't necessarily need to get a lot of air, but the hop can be fun regardless. Last one. And send it back into your downward facing dog. The momentum can help for those if you're not afraid of overdoing it and tipping over. But hard when the legs are kind of 90 degrees. Gonna do the same thing on the other side. Left leg comes up. Left knee towards elbow. Lift it up. Knee towards your elbow or higher. Lift it up. At your own pace. Every time the shoulders shift forward over the wrist. Forward of the wrist. And then we should add about 3 of those hops. I might have done more than 3 because these are fun for me. Leg goes up, you hop. And I need to bring my leg in a little closer, so notice if you need to bring your leg in a little closer. And to get in a good hopping position. Last one. And then come back into your down facing dog. Stretch it out. Bring your knees down. Take a child's pose. Those should get you breathing a little heavier. They certainly did for me, so take a moment. We're going to a little bit put it together. One more, so we have an arm balance in this class. And play towards hurdlers. So if you did half splits or splits, those are great. That's the position of the legs. We've done a lot of stuff to activate the muscles that help in the chest. So even if you're not fully getting into hurdlers, if you have some comfort in the half splits, you can get somewhat deep in the half splits, and you have a crow, you can do hurdlers. Even if it's not like the full thing, get into the position, even if you're not actually off the floor, that's fantastic. So if you'd like to try hurdlers, what we're going to do is come back into our plank, and then we're just going to bring the right knee up. I'll do the left side since I'm facing this way. Left knee up towards your elbow. See how high you can hover it. The higher up, the better. Maybe you can extend out, come into your crow arms, and the more you go forward and out, the easier it's going to be for the other leg to just pop up. Kind of like when we get those kickbacks. Right? Back into your downward facing dog. Stretch it out. Back into your plank, other side. Bring your chest forward. Bring your knee up as high as you can on your other arm, your right arm. Bring your arms into your crow position. Extend your leg forward so it's helping you reach your weight forward. Left leg will just pop right up, float right up. And come back. At first the legs might not pop up, but just like when you try your peacock, you can't jump it too much. It's just got to be that emphasis forward, that movement forward that floats the leg. So it's just getting into the weight in the right position so that the leg wants to float. And the more you can get that extension, usually the lighter it'll feel, thus the splits. One more try. Downward facing dog. Plank. Left knee towards left upper arm, elbow. Elbows come in, leg extends. Lift off. Bring it back. Downward facing dog. Plank. Right knee towards upper arm. Elbows drawing in towards the mid. Right leg extends. Other leg floats. And just like your crow, or your side crow, coming back to the seat, your head's going to turn, and your side of your head, your ear might be very close to the floor. So, don't be afraid of that. If your head touches the floor, it touches the floor. Not a big deal. Okay. Let's lower down and do some back bending. So, first we're going to try a version of Salabhasana that I like. It's tough, but we're not going to be here for too long. So we'll start with the left arm, forearm parallel to the front of your mat. So kind of working that same theme of our arms and our shoulders and our upper body, doing something different. So your left arm parallel to the top of your mat. So where you can just relax your forehead right on your forearm towards your wrist. Your right arm is going to do the opposite, kind of like if you were setting up for your cow-face arms, but you don't need to go up to the middle back. You're just going to set your forearm across your low back like a fancy waiter. And then from this position, relax your forehead down onto your forearm. Press your pelvis and your hips into the floor, so you're activating a little bit more through your glutes. And then lift your upper body up. Hold. And lower down. And then we're just going to do a switch with the arms. Right forearm parallel to the top of your mat, head resting on your right forearm, left arm along your back like the fancy waiter. And lift your upper body, legs sweep to the ground. And lower. One more time each side. Switch your arms. Left arm parallel to the front of the mat. Push your pelvis, your pubic bone slightly down. Inhale, lift your chest. Let your right shoulder pull back, relax back as you lift everything else up. And lower down. Switch. This time the left shoulder gets to relax. Still active, strong through the legs. Lift your chest. Left shoulder relax down. Forearm flat across your low back. And lower down. Then reach both arms forward in front of you. Legs long back out behind you. We're going to lift the opposite arm and leg. So version of Salabhasana. Focused. You can start with your chin forward or either forward to the floor. If you want the neck long, that can be a nice variation. So left arm, right leg, lift and lower. Right arm, left leg lift, and lower. And just go with that at your own pace. You don't have to force it or think about it too hard, but the leg and arm that are down are kind of helping you lengthen out. Right, so your hips and your pelvis can press down or slightly forward. You can feel the armpit that's towards the floor kind of lengthening forward, even as everything else lifts. Let's do one more each side. And then relax down. Slide your hands back to line along the sides of your chest. Lift yourself up. Then we'll come to a kneeling position. Let your knees go about hip width and your toes can touch or be about hip width as well. And from here, we're just going to do a little flowing camel, which should feel really nice. So for a flowing camel, we're just going to let the arms sweep right and left. Letting your body turn right and left with your arms. And then you're going to sweep along the floor. So your hips come up, you're sweeping lower along the floor. Next time you're towards the right, you can cup your right heel, lift your left arm up. And then sweep over to the other side, cup your left heel, lift your right hand up. And we'll do that at our own pace a few times, right and left. If you're feeling very warmed up, you might almost just want to reach your arm back, but give it a couple more goes like this. One more time each side. And then the next time you're back at the right, maybe you do that. You just sweep it back and bring it back to the left heel. And then come out the same way, gentle. And do the same thing on the other side. If it doesn't feel organic to bring your hand there, you can come back out and go into it your regular way. I want it to feel organic. I want it to feel good. That's the point of doing it that way, is it makes it maybe feel more accessible. You get into it a little bit deeper. And then come out the same way you came in, gentle. Just a few more closing postures. So I'm going to face you guys, but you guys can just come to the top of your mat. And we'll bring our right sole of the foot to the floor, left leg out long for vinyasa A. So this is a bind, but so you could use a strap, but it's not super important. So just reach up, I'm going to get long to the body. Left hand comes down, so that same thing you've been doing throughout class. Like one arm lifts, one arm lowers, right? So my right shoulder lifts up, reaching inside my right leg as far forward as I can. And then I'm going to take my arm, wrap it around. So my hand is wrapping around towards my right butt. Left arm, reach it back and wrap it around. Maybe you get the bind, maybe you don't, no big deal. Flex your left toes, pull your right hip back, and send your chest forward over your left leg. Try to square your chest so you're not tilted to the side. You can feel your right hip slightly pulling back to send your chest more forward. Inhale, come back up. Release the bind. Take your right leg and just bring it over so you're stacking your right knee on top of your left. So this is a half cow face. You can stay in half cow face, or if you want the full cow face, you can lift your right butt up, slide your left leg back, and bring the edges of the feet towards you. Right leg's on top, so right arm's going to be on top, so bring your right arm up, grab your right elbow, pat your back. Again, you could use a little strap, you could just hold onto your top, or you can bind, possibly right, reach the left arm out, reach it back, lift it up. If you don't get the bind, again, no big deal. You can just bring your hands towards your back. You do, make sure your right arm's not pulling your neck. Just feeling that same kind of activity in your shoulder blades, like one's kind of up and one's kind of down. Lift your chest, and then we'll take a forward fold. Inhale, come back up. Release your cow face arms if you have them. Right arm comes behind you. Left arm comes forward. Your left hand goes to the pinky toe side of your foot. So in this position, you can probably always get that. But if it doesn't make sense, in the long run, you can hold on at your calf. So pinky toe, edge of the foot. Extend your left leg forward. Reach your right arm back. Opening twist, just like we did right at the beginning of class. Point your left toes back. Lift up as tall as you can. Try to be high on your sitting bones. And then come back to center. I always like to do a little bit of this, pulling the leg in close to my body, but up to you. We'll take the right leg and we'll cross it over above the knee, flex your foot, and then bring your hands back behind you and just slide your left foot forward. Bring your left sole of your foot to the floor in line with your butt. Scoot your butt a little closer to your foot, or I just have to move so I can get my hands in a comfortable position. Your hands not too far behind you, but a little bit further behind you with your fingertips facing towards your feet. So we're going to go into a reverse tabletop with a figure 4 leg. So actually, I'm going to just scoot over this way so that's a better visual. So pressing into your hands, pressing into your left foot, lift your hips up, relax your head back, relax your right knee out, flex your right foot, and let yourself get longer all the way from your chest to your knees. I love reverse tabletop after a lot of arm stuff. Feels challenging, but good. All right, and then just one more twist. You can keep your left leg straight, or you can bend it over if you like to. For our regular spine twist we do in our Bikram series, the half Lord of the Fishes pose. If you're doing this one, any arm variation, or you can wrap around, you can do a little stop sign, you can do a bind, but we are twisting to the right. Point your left toes, and we're going to add Kapalabhati. So let's scoot this way again. So it's, you guys know what Kapalabhati breathing is, but Kapalabhati breathing, those sharp exhales through the mouth. So the idea is I want you to be in a comfortable position here in your twist. So when you do the Kapalabhati, it's just going to allow you to twist deeper without really thinking about it, right? Just strong exhales. In this case, we're actually going to do it through the nose. So just Kapalabhati breathing through the nose. Instead of 20, look over your right shoulder. Center, release that, and then we're going to just switch and do the other side. So right leg goes long in front of you, left leg heel up towards your bum, right hand can be along the side of you to help you get that lift. Left shoulder pulls up, right shoulder is kind of pulling down. Reach inside, so you're bringing your shoulder as far forward of your knee as you can. Wrap around, maybe get the bind. Lift your chest, and then fold forward over your right leg. Again, I'm actively pulling my left knee back, which I always don't love that talking about moving your knee, because it's not really moving from your knee, but I should feel like my left heel is kind of sliding closer to my left bum. My left bum is sliding closer back behind me, so I can move more forward over my right leg. And then come up, release your bind, bring your left leg over your right. You can bring the edge of the foot towards the floor close to your hip for a half cow face, or slide your right leg in for the full deal. Might have to make some adjustments. I always have to adjust. And then on this side, left knee's on top, so left arm comes up. Take your right hand and hold the elbow and kind of draw your hand down your back. Reach your right arm out. Press, and then bring it behind you. Again, maybe getting a bind, maybe not, but just find a place where you can get really nice and lifted through your torso, slightly pull the ribs in and feel your low spine lengthen. And then we'll forward fold here. Inhale, come back up. Release your grip with your arms. Right hand comes forward to grab the left pinky toe. Left arm can go behind you as you steady yourself. Send your right leg or left leg forward. Lift up. So notice I was here. Lifted taller. And then extend your left arm back. Getting that twist again through your torso. So I'm still sending my left butt forward, kicking into my hand to help get a better twist. Come back to center. I always like to do this little bring your leg up towards me thing. Optional. Send your left leg over your right thigh. Bring your right leg up. Make any adjustments you need. Go this way this time. Hands behind you, not super far back. And then when you know you have the right position, you can press your right foot, lift up, send your head back, and flex your left foot. If you didn't take enough space, adjust your space, come down and adjust so you can get nice and long all the way through your torso. Roll back a little bit through your shoulders, release your left knee down, hips up, glutes strong, hamstrings strong, and then lower back. And then from here, you can just either keep your right leg long or fold your right leg in. Back this way. And left arm behind you, right arm up. Any variation you want here. You'll be twisting to the left, point your right toes. Urdhva Matsyendrasana. Lift your chest, look over your left shoulder. 20 more, Kapalabhati through the nose. Get up as tall as you can. Back to center. And release your position with your legs. And let's just come into a comfortable seat. Bring the left heel closer to your body and then just bring your right heel in front. You can sit up on a block if this is not a comfortable seat. Bring the back of your hands towards your knees. I know if the knees are up really high, that doesn't really feel great. So you might have to reach further out, wherever it is for you, so that you can feel the sensation of your legs helping to pull down and getting that stretch in your triceps. So it might be very subtle, but find the place where you can feel it. And I'm actively also reaching my fingertips back. So I'm getting a stretch in my wrists. I'm getting a subtle stretch in my triceps, letting my shoulders relax down. And from here, I'm just going to take my neck and I'm going to roll around whatever way is intuitive for you. Because whenever you do a lot of shoulders, upper back stuff, the neck might have done more than its fair share. So we're just going to take a couple of neck stretches in case that's what happened. Release any tension there. You can do the full roll around if that feels good. Just find what feels good for you. And then one more. Release the hands for that position. Take your left arm and wrap it around your back. Take your right hand and release your fingers, holding your own hand, and draw your right shoulder back. And from that position, draw your chin towards your chest. And then draw your right ear towards your right shoulder to stretch out the front of your throat. The thick muscle that runs there. CSM, I think it is. Clitosternal-mastoid. And then bring your chin back to your chest. Head up. Switch it. Arms out. Right arm wraps around your low back. Left hand interlaces. Pull the left shoulder, left elbow back. Tuck your chin. And then roll your left ear towards your left shoulder to stretch that other side of your throat. If you need to, you can, make adjustments, finding a place where you feel the stretch. Right shoulder still actively pulling down. And chin back to the chest. And then one more time, bring the hands in front of you. Interlace your fingers. Scoop out, hollow out your belly. Reach your arms forward, rounding your spine. And then lift up tall. And Reach your arms back behind you, interlace your fingers, press your chest forward any amount, and come back up. One more round of that. Inhale, reach your arms forward. Exhale, scoop and hollow, round. Lift up tall, lengthen, and then reach back, interlace the fingers, and bow forward. Now the shoulder blades together as you come up. You're done. Please take as much time in Savasana as you need. Let your body relax. Just lying and being still. Again, maybe arms feel different, so be intuitive. If you want to lie with one arm up and one arm down in your Savasana, because we've been doing stuff like that all throughout class, do what feels right. Be playful, but take rest. Namaste.